Hello, everybody. We're going to talk for a few minutes here about a historical event that is going to occur in the next week or two, probably. The aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln will be making a stop in Thailand, the Kingdom of Thailand, and probably letting the boys and girls off the ship for a couple days to tear up the scenery. Now, before any of you get started, we're going to talk a few minutes about that. And then, since a guy sent me this thing about all these bullshit videos of people telling you how to live in these countries and how things are going wrong and this and that and the other thing, some simple things, and of course, things that they would tell you on a ship will tie it all together. So, the Lincoln is going to end up having come off of the longest tour it's ever done. And if you see any of the articles, really what it was is the hygiene products, the energy drinks, the sodas, all the junk food was gone. So they were stuck eating military food, which you can imagine is going to get on your ass after a while. So they're stopping there. There's a couple of Royal Thai cruisers that'll be around it. A ship of that size is unable to come into port in places like Thailand. So they'll send what they call, I guess they call them Liberty shuttles or whatever you want to call, because you're getting liberty. You're going off the ship to go and rape and pillage in the community, sort of like a Viking without the hair, right? So these people are all going to get guys and girls, and they'll send them off in an orderly fashion on these launches into a town, and it'll probably be, and I'll say it the way we've always said it, and you can call it whatever you want, Pattaya Beach, Pattaya, Pattaya, Sin City, right? So they'll probably end up there because that's where Cobra Gold, which is a joint operation amongst the United States Navy and the Royal Thai Navy, that's usually their Liberty port. So they will be allowed to go into town there, do whatever they're doing, culturally influence the community, and then get the hell back on the boat and go home. Depends on how their leaves are set up, if they're allowed to stay overnight or not. I don't think they wear uniforms when they get off the ship there. Some places you have to cut off the ship and you have to wear your uniform. Some places you don't. I don't believe Thailand makes them wear that. So basically, they're going to dump them into a town that's notorious for, I'll say, go-go joints. You call it whatever you want to call it. Notorious for go-go joints and booze ups, right? So that's going to occur. They usually are not allowed to go further north, which is Bangkok, would be the capital. They're usually limited to a certain area. If you are caught outside of the zone by the SPs or whoever, Shore Patrol, or whoever it is catches you in Bangkok, you're not supposed to be there, you are going to be standing tall in front of the man. You're going to be at captain's mast. Somebody's going to F you up, take a big shit on you, whatever you want to call it. So that's that. Good luck to them. It's a nice time, I'm sure. The ship's company is what, around 4,000 people, 3,000 people. I forget what class it is, but probably 3 or 4,000 people who haven't been off of a ship. And the joke is you'll see them, someone's like, their parents are like, well, my son or daughters wants me to find a good hotel referral for them. Bullshit. Yeah. Are you fucking kidding? But yeah, there are some nice temples like on the outskirts of the city, from what I understand. I've never been in, I don't go that far south. Uh, so yeah, they're going to burn off some energy. But if it was me, I'd want to get myself a shower. And if you were a drinker, start working on that because they have to realize that for an event such as this, they are bringing every old mama san, every half toothless bar girl from the woods is being brought back into action to cushion the blow of angry sailor penis so it doesn't mess up all the good girls that they have to save for organized crime figures and bullshit people from Australia and things like that. So that's that whole thing. And while we're on that subject, since like you said, it's come up on some other thing, I think a lot of these guys, and this is not a rant, there's some pussy ass dude who's always like, oh, this is a rant. This is just informative information. If you are going to travel to foreign countries, and there's a lot of it lately, you see it on the Instagram and TikTok and everything, and do not be an influencer. First of all, don't tell them that that's your thing, because especially if it's not, some of the countries, South Korea, I think, Japan, Thailand is going to get there pretty soon with this bullshit. And you're going to see a lot of issues with the influencers because they've had it. Passport bros, they've had it. Okay. Out of control alcoholics, they've had it. So here would be my thought if you don't already have these things. You can get global entry, which hopefully you already have that. Makes it easier on you, especially if you're going to travel from the United States over there. What is 20 hours? 20 hours one way. When you're going to be coming back, is what I'm telling you this for. When you're coming back after having a good time, hopefully not being a dick, not getting arrested, then, and you're standing in that long line of people from Carnival Cruise and everything else, and it's messing you up, you want to be able to do that global entry. Even if you can just get the pre-check, it's pretty good because there is a program on the pre-check that works with, if you are a TSA pre-approved. Give me 1 second. I thought I had it and the phone turned off on me. There is a program online. It's an app. Fuck. And of course, there it is. It'll say CRP MRP. Is that it? CRP MRP. And there we go. I'm going into it. So it's the official app of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, MPC, Mobile Passport Control. Once you get up to the lines, you turn this thing on, and you can submit for all the stuff you're going to be asked, and you show this to them. Show this to them as they're putting you into the cattle chutes, and they will let you go over to a different line. Also nice. I only say this once again because 24 hours in the plane, man, that's like 8 months on the aircraft carrier. You are ready to get away from everybody, sit home and decompress. So those are good things. Also, there's a thing called the STEP program, STEP, which is on the Department of State's website. You pre-register with the State Department, use your passport number, and you tell them where you're going to go country-wise. And if you know where you're going to stay, also put that in there. And before you people get all upset about, oh, the man's going to know. If you're in a foreign country, the man's going to know anyway. But what this allows to have happen is if something does happen to you, like you see these people in Colombia that are getting ripped off with the scopolamine and all this, taking all their shit and they end up in the hospital. Thailand, they're doing yaba. They say it's meth, but it's yaba. It's like bathtub crank. So if you are in that system and they find your body somewhere, or whatever, and they make a call to the embassy already is 2 steps ahead because you'll also have your contact information on who to call if there's a problem. Because the embassy does not care. If you're coming into the country, they don't care. The only time they hear about you is when you make it onto the news. And then they'll get around to it when they get around to it. This way, you sort of goose them through 1 or 2 other steps. So that I like that. Some people do it, some people don't. I like to keep enough of a paper trail that my government has to come and get me if they promise they're going to come and get me. So those are also good. And here we're going to get real quickly into these things that have happened in a couple of countries. When I was in South America, I know it happens in Southeast Asia. My friend was just talking to me about it. He's based in the Philippines. And this was going on when we were in Thailand, Laos, Cambodia. And this whole thing, if you're going to be this digital nomad bullshit thing that they always tell you about, I'll give you the quick rundown. No, you can't live in any of these countries for $200 a month. You can't. They can barely do it. And they live there and they're used to it. Do not pull that shit. It's not going to work. Anymore, if you notice, you have to get over things as an American that we put up with this illegal immigrant bullshit all the time. These other countries do not have the money and social resources to handle lots of illegal immigrants. They don't have it and they don't want it. And they especially don't want you buying property. So you're never going to own a piece of property. And I like this because people are going to tell me, oh, I did, but fuck you. No, you didn't. If you're in a country like Thailand, and I think Philippines may be similar, Cambodia, probably, Laos, no, because they're communists, Vietnam, no, because they're communists. But you can lease a place. If you have to have a thing, I'll just say houses first. Oh, I found a house I love, and I don't want to rent for some reason because they'll rent you something for 10 years. They live for that shit. And it'll be a good price because the longer you stay in a spot, the cheaper they make it because they know you're going to stay. I had people living where we were in the north. Guy had rented from this hotel for 15 years, 15 or 18 years. He had a room in the hotel. He died there. They had a big thing for him. But he lived in that hotel for like 15 or 18 years. No problems, right? So you get over the idea that you're going to own anything. If you're going to go and stay, find a place that you like, but go back 2 or 3, 4 times. Take 2 years to make that decision. A lot of Americans don't make that decision that way. They got to run away from President Trump or some other bullshit, like you see where they got to Europe and then they were invaded by Africans. So what the fuck, right? But if you're in a country, well, and I'll use Thailand again, uh, there's a lot of hoops that you would have to go through to get that long-term visa. You know, Someone's going to say, no, that's not. You're a fucking liar. It's changing again. I think this week or next week, they were making a 60-day visa. They're rethinking that because of the attitude of the tourists, the white tourists especially, maybe not the Chinese because they've dealt with that issue, but the Europeans or whatever, Farang is what they would call you. Those tourists have become so problematic that they want to get rid of the 60-day visa, or if you need it, they're going to make it hard. So you can rent anywhere, anything, anytime for however long you want to rent it for. Boom, that's the end of that story. If you must lease something, you must do it. For some reason, you have to do it. You can lease it for a certain amount of time, and then you can get 230, is it 230 years? You can get these big decades-long extensions on the lease. Okay, so you don't own the land and you don't own the building, but you have it for 90 years. Who's living 90 years, right? So that also can be done. I do not believe the corporation part, I mean, the business side, maybe you have to do a little something because you'd also have to have business licenses and things like that. And here's the other thing. And I'll use the example everybody wants. Everybody wants a little bar or something. Like they grew up in Kensington. They all have to have a little fucking bar. Maybe 1 or 2 girls around so they don't have to go out and pay for blowjobs. Whatever the story is. I don't care if your bar is 6 feet by 6 feet. If you go behind the bar and make a drink for somebody, and somebody sees you and turns you in to the Thai authorities, you can get fined for sure and possibly be on your way out of the country. You are not allowed to do anything that a Thai can do. They consider it very, very serious to preserve the workforce's ability to work in their own country. Once again, imagine that when you come to the United States, when we can't get rid of all these people, right? In Thailand, and I think Cambodia is the same way. Philippines is probably very close. You can check, but I'd say they're very close. Uh, that's how it works. You'll usually see an owner in the place sitting at the corner smoking a cigarette or having a drink. They can't even go behind. They're not supposed to even go behind the bar to get their own drink. If somebody wants to really bust their balls, if they see that, you always have somebody do it for you. You can go back there at the end of the night or something like that. But there's a manager you'd have to hire. There's a lot of little stuff because labor is cheap. Okay. So any kind of business you want to get into, and maybe unless it's a specialty thing, the scuba divers and stuff like that. But let's not fucking split hairs on it. Why bother? You can go to Cambodia. They'll let you work all day, right? It's cheaper living, similar lifestyle, I guess. Go to Sanookville or something like that. You can work over there. They'll allow you to work. Thailand, no. Philippines, 60-40, this depending on the industry. But the property ownership is out the door. There was just a recent article, and that's why they got a hold of me about this group. They were busting all these English that were buying condos. Well, there is a deal with condos that you can indeed get involved in something there, but only a percentage of the condo, the whole thing, is allowed to be foreigners. And this guy was, whoever it was skirting the law. And these guys had put 50 or $100,000 in to buy these things. And turns out they didn't own them. And the Thai authorities kicked their asses over it, as they should, because that's the law. You know, why be stupid when you can just hire a lawyer and do things the right way? Or, as I said, why are you bothering to buy something or try to buy something where 90% of the people in the country don't own anything? These people don't own their own homes. That is an American fantasy. Don't bring your America to these other countries. I think it's the first thing they teach you in the schools anymore, right? If you go to any of those kind of things where you have to try not to blend in, but not so you don't go native. But the fact of the matter is, whatever you're going to do there, you better have money coming in from another country. And it has to be a lot of it, because you're still 4 or 5,000. They'll say whatever, 2,500 at the least for you to survive nicely. And there'll be arguments about that, but I'm not trying to sell you a video. I'm not trying to sell you an apartment. I'm telling you from personal experience over 1996 to COVID, something like that. So yeah, more than twice. Same with these South American countries, okay? And your other option, if you have to still buy things, is to get married to a local. And imagine how that's going to work out, because they're all in love with you, because you're a millionaire as far as they're concerned. And this is all these other countries. That's why these people are going to Medellin, right? Because maybe they don't like the looks of Asian girls, or maybe they don't have the money to fly 24 hours out of the United States, or Southeast Asia is more of a Australian, Scandinavians, the Germans, the Japanese and Koreans have their own clubs, so you don't really see them too much. The Chinese for a while, but they got sick of the Chinese. I think they've curtailed their activities, but not so much with the Americans. It's changing over the years. Flights are getting, I guess, cheaper, or they found ways to get there cheaper. Don't know. But they're not going there to learn about Theravada Buddhism, I can tell you that, which is a shame, because the culture is incredible. The people are very nice. Even if you go up to, into dealing in Cambodia, the Khmer are also pretty pleasant people. Go to Angkor Wat or whatever. But after you go to Angkor Wat, what are you going to do, right? So don't buy this shit. Don't marry any of the locals. If you do want to marry one of the locals, you do not marry one of the bar girls. You do not marry anybody that you met working in an entertainment zone at all. At all. You don't even, I worry about people working at the mall, because they're rock and roll now, and they've got that bug. Years ago, that was part of this. The interest with these countries was the sincerity level was very high. You may be a big cash register to them, but they were pleasant about it. And everybody sort of whatever, somebody's on the payroll, they're not on the payroll. You go out for the whatever, the GFE or whatever they call that shit. You do all that stuff, you're fine. Nobody cares. Now they go to these other countries and it's crass consumerism. And these guys are like, I thought this was going to be romantic. Dude, you went into a neighborhood that says pussy galore on the front of the building. What did you think was going to occur? You're like going up the street from close by to us is what? Five strip clubs / prostitution zones, at least, not including the Asian massage, not including the suntan booths. Also, don't marry anybody working in there. But there are ways to weed it out, and it takes a long time. I know a guy who actually did it, was very successful. They've been married for 25 years. a couple other ones, but in general, the new crop, because 9 times out of 10, the young guys are stupid too, you know? So I'm just saying, go there and enjoy yourself. You want to go out if you have to be an influencer, there are some beautiful apartments, there are some beautiful hotels. Go to Bangkok, beautiful stuff, restaurants, top of the world. That city and that country have been more maligned by that stupid hangover movie and everything else. That was up until, I guess, COVID. Every country around it, if they had to have a big meeting, like Singer Sewing Machine for some reason is huge, but they had one in a building that I was in, like 800 of them, right? Bangkok has the space to handle these gigantic conventions. It's like a Vegas-y kind of thing, except it's nicer. And everybody look forward to going there. You know, the food's great. You go to a hotel, a real hotel, the big ones, they're going to have a Thai cook. They're going to have an Italian or French cook. And they used to always have a Chinese cook, specifically areas. When I was especially in the north in Chiang Mai, because they had a lot of dealings with the Chinese and the ethnically Thai Chinese are in that region. The food is all very regional. If you're going to go there, I would suggest, I don't know if any of you know how to read books anymore, Eyewitness Travel is the name of the series. The Thai book is outstanding. You'll learn a lot from it. You'll have a good time. Eyewitness Travel in general is a good series of books. So I think we covered everything you need to worry about. Just don't believe any of the shit you see in these videos because these guys are out there trying to, it's not even that they're trying to get clicks. They're all running, get my $5 pamphlet on this and my $10 pamphlet on that. The law over there in any of these countries, South American countries and everything else, is incredibly complex and not at all like the United States legal system. Not one bit. Even you figure the Philippines, we occupied that for what, 1,000 years? No. And you also can't, as far as I know, foreigners can't own property there either, especially, white foreigners. So they had this whole ASEAN thing they were going with. So the Australians got left out of it as well. But that's all I have for you on that. I wouldn't say there's anything more to know, except that if you want to go to a place, do not go there expecting to get married to anybody. Do not expect it to be running away from my responsibilities. If you want to go there I know guys, we did a job, I'm not going to date it. So this fella who I met lived in the Midwest, I'll say, and he traveled back and forth to Medellin. What was it? Fucking 8 times, 10 times a year, 8 or 10 times a year, because he had a business and he had money coming in, but he had to keep going back to get his business, keep his business going and keep his money coming in. That's how you do it, because that'll be the last thing. This is important. If you don't have your mind right, if you don't have hobbies, maybe you like to read, maybe you like to work out a lot, maybe you want to do all kinds of different things that you always do and can always do in your apartment or something like that. Because what's going to happen after the whoring and the drinking and the whatever wear off, and it will wear off, what are you going to do every day? The expat community is not as big as you think it is. And if you go down the wrong road, those people are never going to fucking talk to you again. That's kind of how it's kind of how that thing works. Especially in a town like, I'll say, Pattaya Beach or something like that, because everybody's it's like Deadwood. If you ever see Deadwood, it's kind of Deadwood-ish, except there's less law, I guess. But you have to have real things going on in your life where you're going to lose your mind, which takes you back again to, why would you buy something? If you're going to go over there, and I just told you can't open a lot of businesses, people, please tell me that you can. And then all the rest of you go onto any AI system and put in there, what do you have to do? What are the formalities to open such and such a business? And then pick the country that you say you're going to do it in. It's that simple. People, guys don't understand what really fast researching that through the AI systems does for you. You can't bullshit people anymore. You can bullshit them about your feelings, like, oh, I love you, baby, that kind of shit. But if you tell me that it's, 10 feet from my door to the ocean, I can find that out, you know? And that's also going to be a thing. Are you going to be an ocean person? I live near the ocean. I go to the ocean 4 times a year. I drive by it a lot because this fucking parking is expensive and I'm on the water, you know? So why would I go to another ocean? Guys like, why don't you come over? We live near the beach. They live in Hua Why? I already live near one. Mine's maybe not as clean, or maybe it is cleaner, but I have all the American amenities. You're going to lose all the American amenities. You're going to lose all the hospitalization, which you don't think you need, but as you get older, you may want to worry about that. You know, those are things you can do when you're younger. I have two friends of mine. He went and worked in the Philippines in an industry. Wife and the kids, they all went, had a great time because they knew there was a beginning and an end, right? Usually, if you take the wife to Asia, you come back a single man because it's too much. Guys just go crazy. Guys who normally wouldn't talk to girls at all, pussies flying in all over the place. They don't have to do it themselves, and it falls apart. Plus, the wife has nothing to do because if she's not on a work visa or something or whatever, she's sitting around. The kids are at school. They have servants. Most people get servants. You get a housekeeper or something like that because it don't cost much. So what do? Learn how to drink in my spare time? Shit like that. You have to have a plan. I mean, they're nice to go. If you want to go on a week trip, see around here where we are in South Florida, I can go to South America for 2 hours. I can go to Puerto Rico. I can go to the fucking Bahamas. Not that I would, but I could go there, Jamaica, all that shit, right? Different cultures every time, pretty much. So I can get a pretty good dose of South American and Caribbean culture. Oh, and all those other islands, wherever, Trinidad, shit like that, right? We have all that. I don't know where you live. Maybe you just have a state next to a state next to a state. Maybe Canada is exotic, right? I don't know. But you'll find out pretty damn quick. Find places you like, do the research. If you can get there cheap enough, a lot of these new airline companies that are coming out, there's like Nord or Norge. I got a flight with them into Germany, and I had to fly to New York, which is no big deal. And I flew from I think New York to somewhere in Scandinavia, got on another plane and went down to Munich. Right? Try to find your best deal. Once again, AI. Put a nice prompt together and it does the whole thing for you. See, when I go, like I said, if I'm over there, any of those places, and you're not going to put me anyplace nice. So my whole thing is it's got to have its own bathroom. It's got to have a European toilet and it has to have air conditioning. I don't watch the television because the fuck am I watching? I don't know what they're talking about, right? Wi-Fi, if you need it, fine. You don't need it, who gives a shit? So anyway, that's all I have for you on that. Any other questions? I don't know what to tell you, but that's 20 years worth of experience, something like that. You'll have a good time if you don't act like a moron. The problem, unfortunately, is people that were interesting to hang around with there, because I enjoy going to a place where there are interesting people to talk to. I met a lot of really interesting people. I have online friends for 15, 20 years that I met on my travels. The usual bullshit, send memes or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, as the culture changes, there's less and less interesting people to talk to. So if you think you're going to go there and be whatevered, you're going to hear the same bullshit that you'd hear from Clavicular 9 times out of 10, especially in Bali. The whole goddamn island is invaded by Australians that think they're clavicular or that they have some Kundalini something or other going on in their head. Even the hot girls, and they all got like gonorrhea or something. It's nasty, nasty fucking spot. It's a shame. Love that. I liked Australia, but these got to be like the prisoners or whatever coming off of it. So anyway, that's all I have for you on this one. Have a good day. For those of you on the Abraham Lincoln, fight the good fight. Remember, don't go second or third. See you later.